Good morning. I hope everyone's having a wonderful Saturday. It's raining here again. It's been raining for days. Pretty soon we're going to have to build an ark. Anyways, so I wanted to come on and continue working on this adorable fall fence speaker. If you've been following this series, this is where we left off. This is our peaker, this adorable scarecrow. And then this is one of the inserts that's going to go in front of the fence. And it is really a heavy item. I was really surprised when I picked it up. It's very sturdy. So our next element is another insert that you put in front of the fence. And there is both of the slots on the fence are the same width. So you can put these wherever you want. You can put them, whether you want to put it on the left side or the right side, it's up to you. There's no right or wrong. It has to be a personal preference. So we're going to continue on. And I have this adorable sign with some pumpkins in front. And we have this that we're going to glue on. Good morning, everyone. And I think I'm going to try something different with these three pieces. I don't think I'm going to make them wood. I think I'm going to bring color into them. Like, I think I'll make the pumpkin patch part orange. The hayride, I'm either thinking green or blue, the same color as the bibs. And then the corn maze, I'm going to do yellow, probably the marigold. But I thought that would be kind of interesting, just to add more color and not make it so brown looking. So we'll have to see about that. So I got a ways to go before I have to paint those. So I want to use a wet wipe to paint this post of the sign, and I've been using the color called honey brown. So we're just going to take some honey brown, probably put too much out, and a wet wipe, and just go. And how dark or light you make this has to be a personal preference. I like a little bit of the grain showing through. And then I'll dig out the score lines. But I'm kind of wiping this off for now, so it is light. I'll let that dry pretty good, and then I'm going to come back and put another coat. I want this to look weathered and like it's been there for years. So but like I said, I do want the grain to show through. I use the Baltic birch, and this is one of the reasons why I do that, because I'll do a lot of designs that have like a grain look to it for wood, and you can't get that with MDF. So, and this takes a while to dry. I'm going to try and get another coat so I'm not sitting around waiting. And I'll have to dig out these score lines. So let's get to that now. And I just have a little tool that I bought from Dollar Tree. It works wonderful. I don't press really hard when I'm doing this, and the reason being is I find sometimes it has a tendency to jump out of that little score line, and then it scratches your wood. So I just kind of go light. And if I need to go over it again, I can always go back. I think the Kentucky Derby's this weekend, isn't it? And if that's the case, I know there's been rain and nasty weather in this area the past few days. I don't know how, do they run in the rain? I would think, if that's the case, they risk the horses hurting themselves. I don't know. I don't know much about horse racing. And then I'm going to let that dry really good. And then I'll probably sand over it lightly just to rough it up. If I need to put another coat on, I will. I think I'm going to actually be good with that, though. So we're going to basically use the same colors. I've been using the same colors over and over and over again throughout this design. And I like to do that because I like everything to just kind of flow. So you'll see me doing that. I think I might put a little bit more on this one side. I want it a little bit darker, I think. And if I have to take the score lines out again, so be it. But I know I want this a little bit darker because I am going to be sanding it. So, after it dries. So, we'll let that dry really good. All right. On to these pumpkins. I'm going to use a sponge the best that I can. And then I'm going to have to convert to a brush. And I'm using a color called Spice Pumpkin. And even though I'm going to be gluing leaves over top of this. Oh, I shouldn't have done that in that one. Oops. Oh, well. My bad. I'll just have to this one leaf, and I've actually corrected it. I didn't put a vein line, but I corrected it. This actually needs to be painted right in there. So that was an epic fail on my part. So I think after, I might have to mark that so I know. Because that green's a bummer to cover up. I just made some extra work for myself. I mean, way more than what I wanted. And I'm gonna do, these pumpkins exactly how I did the other one. I love how those turned out. And I'm kind of going in this one area, but I know I'm gluing a leaf on there, so I'm not really too worried about it. Alright. So kind of let me see where I'm at, so I'm not messing that up again. And honestly, I probably should paint this whole thing green when the time comes. We'll see. I don't know. That might be too much green in that area. Maybe I'll just stick with orange. And I do have another leaf to glue on over on the other side. So I'm kind of not worried about that too much. And you can tell if you look at these pumpkins carefully where the score lines are for leaves. If there's not a vein line on that, you know there's a leaf that glues on top of that. And I did that intentionally to cause less confusion. I'm still going in areas I shouldn't be, but like with this particular pumpkin, if you look, there's a score line right there, a vein line on that leaf and on that one. So those are ones you're going to paint, where this you're going to glue over top. And we know orange always takes a couple coats. I kind of need to see. Okay, I need to go up there a little bit more. And then if I do paint those individual signs, I'm going to shade around them. And then also, I'm going to sand around them as well. To give that old weathered, rustic feel. And, well, I've got this out. I want to make sure that I'm up far enough on this particular piece. This might not be the right leaf. I have another leaf that's about the same size. Yeah, I don't think that's the right leaf. All right. Let's kind of see how this is. All right, I'm going to lightly sand over this just to smooth it out a little bit. Then we'll do some shading on this. And I'm going to use milk chocolate. Then I might darken it up with a little bit of dark chocolate. So for the stems of the pumpkin and the shading, like I said, I'm going to use milk chocolate. I did kind of learn from yesterday that I need to shade with asphaltum and highlight with camel. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm really sorry about that, but my little dog seemed like she was gonna get sick. So, I'm gonna use milk chocolate to paint these stems. I'm gluing over this one, but I'd rather just paint it to be on the safe side. And then I'm going to shade down both sides of this pole just to introduce another color. Using the milk chocolate. And I'll need to go over that. Again, I want that a little bit darker. And I might have to think about using asphaltum on this. We'll see how it goes once it dries. And then I'm going to dry brush shading at the top and bottom of this as well. Just to cast a shadow. And my paint is drying very fast today. Yeah, I'm gonna want that darkened up a little bit here and there. So we'll let that dry really good, and I'll put another coat on it. I think though with that I'll just do the dark chocolate. But for these stems, I'm going to use asphaltum. I feel like I got a fuzzy there. I just chose to use the asphaltum instead of breaking out the dark chocolate. They're pretty similar in color, so I'm just using camel to highlight, and then just taking my finger and blending it in. All right. Let me do a little dry brushing. I'm going to use the milk chocolate. And this is kind of still wet, so I'm not going to get a great dry brush. Which is a little disappointing. I should have waited. But I am going to sand over it a little bit, so do that now. Good morning. Yeah, I can feel that wood is still damp. I'm still gonna go over and sand this. I kind of hate that I have that dark spot right there, but it is what it is. So let's lightly sand it and then go down the sides as well. All right, that looks kind of weathered. And I'm happy with that. It's kind of hard to see in the camera, but I can see where the edges of that post have been sanded. So, all right, let's do a little highlighting. I'm gonna use a color called Tangerine. And if you were following me yesterday or watched yesterday, you know that this takes several coats. Yep, I've got a little fuzzy. That is stuck due to the paint. Here we go. Those little tweezers are the best purchase I've made. They really help with gluing small pieces, and even though I have nails, you can't always pick everything up with them. Sometimes those little hairs are just too tiny. And then something I did yesterday is I actually mixed the tangerine with some marigold. I don't know if I'll do that today. I want these to have the same brightness as the others. And that highlighting is pretty bright. I'm going to stick with this for now. And if I have to throw in a little marigold, I'm going to. Because I want them to be pretty similar. And certain shades of yellow are a good combination for highlighting orange. I'm going to go in and get that going now. I'm probably going to have to redo that one. And I'm using more of the tangerine than I am the marigold. What I do is I get so much marigold on my brush, take it over to my palette, blend it just a little bit, then I go back in and get some of the orange tangerine, the tip, and then I blend it into where I blended that yellow, the marigold, on my paper palette. That's how I blend two colors for highlighting. I don't know, that one spot just, I don't know. And I'm doing the same procedure as far as blending those two colors for highlighting the inside of these pumpkins. Let's see, my brush is actually too wide for that little area, so I took off my paint. And once I shade, this highlighting is going to pop even more. I need a wider float over there. Alright, not too bad. I don't know what's going on with this one part of this pumpkin. I don't know if there's a flaw in the wood, but it just, I don't know, it looks weird. Alright. I need to let those dry pretty darn good. Because I need to shade. And I can't remember, I think I used burnt orange yesterday. I did. Pretty sure I did. Tell you what though, I'm gonna stick with persimmon. And if I have to go over it to make it a little bit darker, I will use the burnt orange. Yeah, I do think I use that burnt orange. This has got more of a reddish cast to it. But I'm gonna stick with it for now. But I think burnt orange is the better color to shade with. That way you get that dark shading and will help create that illusion of layers. So I'm just gonna put this persimmon on all the pumpkins. Then I'm gonna go back with the dark orange. Or burnt orange, rather. Because I can definitely see a difference from this set of pumpkins and the other. I mean, they're pretty similar in color. Here's the burnt orange, and this is a persimmon. This is just a hair darker. And when I have them out on my plate, you can definitely see the difference. But I want that darker shadow. Because I feel that darker shadow will make that highlighting pop more. And I might have to go back and brighten up my highlighting a little bit more. Sometimes I do that after I put my shading on. I feel like my highlights are not bright enough. So I will go back and highlight a little bit more. Make these a little bit darker. And then I'm going to go back and highlight just a little bit more. And I think these pumpkins are where I want them. And then I'm going to dry brush shading like I did yesterday underneath where the leaves will be. I just want this centerpiece to really pop. Really, really stand out. That's how I like to do my pumpkins. I make that centerpiece a little bit brighter because I just want it to pop more. That's how I like my pumpkins. All right. And once I, you know, put the leaves on, do a little bit more shadow, you know, it's going to give that illusion. I feel that it gives the illusion of layers and dimension. I mean, if you think about it, if you look at pumpkins, they're dimensional. So, all right. I'm going to use a smaller brush. Now this, I gotta kind of see how I want to do it. This one hangs over. That's not right. I feel like I'm missing a piece. As a matter of fact, I know I am. Yep, I think I'm missing a piece. Let me see. Yep, somehow, some way, that piece is missing. So, I'm going to take a break real quick. I need to empty my water. I think this is, I need to empty my water. I'm going to cut that piece real quick. And we'll carry on. Hopefully you stick around. Okay. Let's continue on. So I'm just gonna do a little dry brushing with the burnt orange. Just trying to create a little bit of a shadow. And like I said, this is just a very delicate way of adding color. I don't know why I need this on there. I feel discombobulated today. I don't know what's going on. So I'm kind of just following those score lines on this particular pumpkin. And it's not going to be as dark as what I floated. But it's enough to create some shadow. So let me just place everything back up here. Let's see where I am. Not bad. right. Let's paint these leaves. And I'm going to use that Hauser medium green. That's too much paint. I don't have to take a brush and go in these areas. I don't like to do things this way, but I'm going to kind of get my line for the green. Okay, I think I got them all. That needs a better coat. Alright. I'm gonna do a little dry brushing. With the Hauser light green. Like I said, I'm gonna do these exactly how I did the other ones yesterday. I like the way they came out. And then I'll do a little floating as well, just to brighten these edges up a little bit. I'm kind of just focusing on those curves for my floating. And then along the tip there. I know that's going to cover most of that, so, but it's habit. All right. Hopefully this brush is dry enough. It's not too bad. So I'm gonna dry brush some Hauser Dirt Green. On some of these leaves, and I'm also gonna float on some of these. Some of these areas are pretty suspect. Alright, let's do a little floating. And I'm going to start off with these smaller areas. And then what I'll do is I'll go around the tips that I dry brush just to darken them up. And then also too, what it does is it creates a more solid color. And I kind of need to do like a little shadow here as well. And I think these leaves are done. So, what I could do is get these glued together. But I want to make sure I'm getting the right leaf, because some of these are pretty much the same size. Let's get these glued. That's too much glue. That is going to slip slide away. Then I think the smart choice is to get this glued on here first. Kind of missed. I need to put some dark green there. Didn't get it over. I'll just do like that and it'll be fine. I need to go back, I think, with maybe some of that brown as well. So I kind of missed the mark on that one. But these are easy fixes. And those are done. I have an extra leaf somewhere. I don't know where it came from. Maybe I had that leaf all along and I just didn't realize it. I don't know. Too many leaves. I think I did. I think I had it all along and I don't know. Whoops. So this is gonna go on here like this. And why not get it glued? And that way, when it comes time to do the signs, I'm loving this. Just absolutely loving it. It's just, the colors are beautiful. And I can hit up in this one area as well. I noticed that. People probably wouldn't see it, but I see it, and so it bothers me. And I'm kind of glad that I left that orange. All right. Now I know that I'm gonna want this down here. And here's the reason why. But I'll see where it's at once I get these all painted. Yellow. I'm gonna paint this yellow, so I know I'm gonna paint this orange, so that if I put this down here, it's orange upon orange. which it's going to be close. And you can put these signs however you want. I kind of seem to alternate them. But this orange will be still close to this, but not as close. So I know I want this yellow down here. Plus 2, I have the crow's feet, which is going to be yellow. This, I have to decide what color. I don't know if I want it to be the green or the blue. If I do green, it is up far enough. And then you got the green and the orange together. But I really kind of want to bring in some more blue. I don't know. So let's paint these and make a decision. And I know I need to do a delicate touch. So I'm gonna do marigold on the corn maze part. I just want to add some color instead of just making that just so all brown. And I'm probably gonna go over and after I shade these, I'll probably sand it as well. Just to darken it up a little bit. And I'm just barely touching around that lettering. I hardly have any paint on my sponge. I'm putting more paint up top here, and then I'm coming back by the letters and just, barely touching. And I feel you're still going to get the stuff on the engraving. I need to look into how you get deeper engraving, if there's such a thing. I might just take my paintbrush and go around. I have some paint in those engraved areas and I can't help it. And I'm fine with it. It just adds a little bit more character. Because, like I said, I plan on sanding this. And I'm going to shade around this, but I think that's just going to add some color. It's going to create some more interest. It's not going to be your basic laissez sign. I think I like that. Part of me kind of wants to do that one green. I don't know. So I'm going to do the spice pumpkin. On here. I didn't get a very good cut on this. I'm going to see what I can do with this sponge. If not, I will be breaking out the brush. I'm kind of just using the corner of my sponge to get up next to these letters. And it seems to be working pretty good. So that's just something I kind of discovered on my own today. Like I said, I'm a old school painter, and I use my brush. But I'm finding if I put just a little bit of paint on the sponge and just use that point, I'm kind of being able to get it in there. Those areas pretty good. I know a lot of people paint their surfaces, or their wood rather, I guess is a better way to say it, before they cut the pieces out on the laser. Especially, I think, if they're going to engrave. I've never tried that. I don't know if that's something I see myself trying. People mask their surfaces. I'm kind of not going to really worry all that much about the char from this engraving, because to me it just kind of I don't know how I feel about it. I know if I do green, boy, that's a lot of orange and green in one area. But it flows. It will all flow. Alright, fine. Green it is. I don't know how I feel about actually painting these. So, but what's done is done. But like I said, I'm gonna shade around them, rough them up. So they're not gonna be as bold as what they are now. And what stinks is this green takes lots of coverage, coats to cover, get a decent coverage. I'm gonna switch sponges because as you cut them down, they're not as firm. So I'm really using that corner to get in these areas. And there I just got paint where I didn't really want it. Oh well. These are for me. I don't sell my pieces. I've had a couple of people inquire, but I don't sell my painted pieces. I either keep them for myself and display them in my home, or I give them to family and friends. And I'm getting quite the collection in my home. But I have thought about selling some of them, like on Marketplace. Like some of my porch greeters, they're already put together. To ship them would be so costly. But my sister and I were talking the other day about possibly doing Marketplace, selling them on there. Then you can just meet the people. Because there's no way I could ship those. I have all kinds of wreaths that I've made. Thought about putting those on there. Because to ship them, trying to sell them and ship them through Etsy, it would be a fortune in shipping. Because my wreaths, they're 6 to 8 inches deep. There's a lot of stuff on them. What stinks about having to use this brush is I know I'm going to have to go in between these letters several times so it's not blotchy. But I'm going to see what I can get away with. And I might not like these signs colored like this when it's all said and done. And if that's the case, I will cut new ones offline and use a wet wipe and do the honey brown like I did on the post. I just thought that I would mix it up, add some color, so there's not all this brown, because this is also going, you know, next to the fence, which you're going to have brown upon brown. And I didn't want that like that. I have so much water in my brush. Honestly, I'm kind of putting this on haphazardly. which is not my style. I just know that I'm going to sand this. That's all going to smooth out. And I still have to shade these. And part of me is kind of thinking, because I'm going to see what happens after I sand and shade around the outside edges. I might use that wax sealer and go over these pieces, and what that'll do is it'll kind of give it an antique look. And it'll actually darken these colors, this paint color. I haven't used that yet on any of my projects. I plan on doing that with my one Christmas design that I haven't painted yet. It's a, I think I named it Farmhouse Christmas. But it's, you know, it's going to be very rustic, very, it's, like I said, farmhouse. I think it's called Farmhouse Christmas Bench Insert. It's for my bench. And I planned on using that stuff to make it look really antique and rustic and primitive. I actually here did this on this banner. So it's actually on this. What I used, this is actually, I think, the light buttermilk. And then I sanded around the edges, and then I applied that wax. And this just looks really old and antique and weathered. So I might do that with these signs. Because also, too, you know, I don't know if you can see this, but the grain of the wood, that wax kind of got into the grain of the wood. And I can see it really well in person. And by me using wood, and I plan on sanding this, those dark colors might get in there as well and just really make it look weathered. I have to decide. Because I don't know if you do it on, like, I don't want to say this. If I just did it on these pieces, and maybe the post, maybe, would the rest of the elements look off because they don't have that staining wax on them? And that's kind of what I'm afraid of, because if it looks off, then you'd have to put it on all those pumpkins, and then that's giving me that rustic feel that I really didn't want on this piece. I don't know if that makes sense. So let's kind of see that we are. Let's see. Yeah, I definitely gotta sand those. So definitely have to sand it and stain around there. So do you think that's too much orange, green, and yellow? I don't know. I probably should have just stuck with the wood. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking I might have messed up. So, I need to empty my water. This needs to dry really, really well. I'm going to come back. I'm going to shade around them. Because I feel like you can hardly see the word hayrides. I don't know. I probably should have used that blue, but I did not. So I'm going to let these dry really, really well. Come back, we're going to shade them. Going to sand them down. See what that does. So hopefully you stick around. let's shade these and see what I get. Shade them and sand them, and it's either going to be a hit or a miss. I'm going to use raw sienna on this marigold. I'm really liking that color. Not enough water. And I'll do 2 coats of that. And then I'm going to use the burnt orange. On this spiced pumpkin. And then just, you know, adding the shading down the sides kind of actually changes the look of these signs. Too much water, holy smokes. Kind of gives them a different look. Boy, I'm an overachiever with the water today. Can't really see that burnt orange all that well. I had to go over that a couple times. That was too much paint. That's too much water. The struggle is real right now. Holy smokes. I'm kind of just like walking the float at the ends and where the point is, just to make that shading a little bit wider. And that's just just a cruddy looking float right there. Pretty cruddy. See, that's not dry. I'm wiping off everything I did. So go down one side, let it dry really good, and then come back and do the other side. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. I think this is throwing me off because it's so, the green is so dark. Maybe if I would have used the Hauser light green, I'd feel different. I don't know. I have no idea. Alright, this is pretty dry. So I'm going to start out by sanding the edges with like a more gritty sandpaper. And go across it and we'll see what it does. It takes the paint off, makes it look a little old. I don't know. I just don't know how I feel about it. This might be a no-go. It definitely lightens them. I mean, I'm liking that better. And I'm not gonna glue it on yet because I just don't know how I feel about it. Part of me kind of wants to use that stain, but then that's gonna darken them up a little bit. Do I not? That is the question. Why not? What's it gonna hurt? So, actually, I already have, I'm just gonna dip my sponge in this and kind of wipe it off and kind of just go over it. It kind of darkens it back up. But I really wanted it those wooden pieces that are sanded to be a little bit more darker. But it's just a faint, it's a dark stain, but it's like when it hits those sanded pieces, it's pretty faint. So that kind of just changes the whole look of it So let's just keep going. I don't know if I'm going to stick with this or not. I really don't. Well, that's darker. That might be a little bit too dark. So I'll just take a sponge that is kind of clean and wipe at it. Wipe it off. That ain't too bad. I don't know how I feel about it. It was a last minute decision to add color to these signs, so I don't know how I feel about it. And maybe once I get the crow painted, that will tell the tale for me. I don't know. So this is just a sealing wax. It's a dark wax. I got it off of Amazon. It's like $20, but you don't use a whole lot. It'll last a long, long time. Part of me doesn't like how that is showing through. So, all right, we'll just go with it for now. And it is pouring down rain. So let's get this crow painted and call it a day for today. And I better wipe my hands off first because I can paint and wax and I kind of feel like I maybe should have used a lighter green. All right. So I'm just going to use white. I'm going to do exactly how I did, last time by painting the eyes, the white part of the eyes with the sponge, and then I'll just, I gotta do the legs too, or feet, whatever. Completely forgot about that. So I'm just gonna use the marigold. I'll do any highlighting on his feet this time. They're pretty tiny. Might make him look too busy. And I'm going to use soft black to paint the crow. I'm on here a lot longer than what I wanted to be today. I'll just use a smaller brush to go around this crow's eyes. And I'm going to have to use a pretty small brush to highlight the body. Or I'll be going over the eyes, the whites of the eyes. Which is not going to be good. Take some regular black, and I think I'm going to put this on the sticky board. I just think it would be easier to work with. And all I'm doing is I have very minimal paint on my brush. And I'm kind of just pushing it out towards the score lines. I kind of start in the middle and just work my way out. Honestly, I have too much paint on my brush. I'm kind of just dabbing. And that's what works for me. So I'm going to take this black and shade on both sides of the body on the wing. Just to create a little bit of a shadow. I think that black is dry enough. Now I need a teeny tiny stylus. I mean, there's hardly a point on that at all. But it'll be enough for these small eyes. It's actually almost too big. Don't like that. Try that again. Good enough. All right. Let's take a little graphite and see if I can do a little highlighting. And we'll see how this looks. I'll glue everything off camera. But I'll just put everything laid on top of one another here for you folks to see, but I don't know how I feel. I don't know how I feel about what I did with those signs. That's something I'm gonna have to sit on. And I'm using graphite, if I didn't say, to highlight this bird. It's not a bright highlight. It's pretty minimal. You probably can't even really see it in the camera, but in person, I can definitely see a difference. A little wide on there. Oh well. Alright. So let's just kind of stick this all together and see how I feel. Because I just don't know how it's going to look with all the other elements. not bad. It screams full, that's for sure. It definitely screams full. Part of me really wants to change that hayride sign. We'll see. So, I know you can't see all that great. I don't have a whole lot of room. But we have that. Then we're gonna have this next to it. So, I need to glue that because that just came off. It's one of those days. It's one of those days. Do you think I should have put that blue in there? I mean, when you... I don't have enough room on my table. So when you separate them and you stick the scarecrow in the middle, does it go? I don't know. Just that's really, really bothering me. I don't know if I went and took the blue, if it would look weird. Because this is nothing but orange and green. So, I need to think about things. But this is where we're at. And I'm liking it. I don't know how I feel about this. This is throwing me off, so... I don't even know if I took and dry brushed. Like with a really cruddy brush. If I did the light, how that would do. Alright, let's just do it. Because here's the deal. If I don't like it, I'll cut another one. Because I can. So... I can cut another one. It just seems too dark for me. And I don't know if this is the right. Go big or go home. This is a cruddy brush. Let's lighten it up a lot. Well, not a lot, but... So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of dry brushing some Hauser light green on here. And it's definitely lightening it up. I don't know how I feel about it. Might have made it worse. Go figure on that one. I think that's what's thrown me the most with this particular piece is, let me bring it back out so you can see. It's lightened it, but with the engraving being so dark, you know, I feel like it gets lost. So, I don't know, maybe I need to screw it. Let's just screw it all up. Let's sponge it on. And too, by using this color, it's going to kind of bring out the highlighting color on the leaves. Alright, well, I haven't done any shading, and I might recut this because I've got it all on the score lines, but I kind of like that better. I definitely like that better. It's lighter, you can see it. So I will work on that off camera. Like I said, I got all kinds of stuff in the score lines, or engraving rather. And it's not hard to do. I'm just kind of frustrated, so definitely was pressing a lot harder than I should have been. So you'll have that. You'll have those days. And then two, let's just keep going. Let's just keep going. Let me, shade some Hauser dark, medium green, and we'll see what it does. And take that staining crap and see. Something I'm kind of worried about when I go to sand this, it's going to reveal all that paint from below. I could honestly say I don't think it was as much fun painting this as the other. And I think maybe once I put that antiquing, that stain on, that's going to change the look of this as well. It's really not dry all that great, but let's see about sanding some of this off. Kind of getting impatient. On here way longer than what I want to do. I was right. It's gonna take that paint off. I called that one. Oh boy. Well, that wasn't a hair boy, that was an oh boy. I don't know. It definitely looks different. I don't know, I'm just gonna stick with it. I'm just gonna stick with it. It's not what I was after, but I can live with this. It's not that bad. So let's glue it. Let's glue. Be done with this, and tomorrow I'll come on and we'll do the banner. I kind of want to get these somewhat centered. I'm just going to put them on here. Whoa. And that's that. I mean, I like it. It's not what I was after, but I do like it. And I think everything put together, it'll look nice. So, I will probably be on tomorrow. I'm not for sure. If I do, it'll be early in the morning, around 9. We have 4 different elements to my banner. So it'll take a little time to paint. Some of them are pretty detailed. So, alrighty. So until next time, take care. Bye-bye.